We have all played what is considered to be a GTA clone at one point or another, whether it be The Getaway, a Saints Row, or perhaps it was a Mafia game. But in the post-GTA clone era, we saw games that clearly owed a huge debt to Grand Theft Auto, but weren't exactly trying to mimic the formula one-to-one. These titles carved out their own space in the genre while still walking the streets that GTA 3 paved. Unless it was crime, life, gang wars, and we don't need to talk about that. One of the more unique takes was the Saboteur from Pandemic Studios back in 2009 on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. 2009 was an interesting time to release a video game that revolved around World War II. At the time, gamers had experienced a bit of fatigue when it came to that topic. With Call of Duty, World at War, and the onslaught of Medal of Honor games, it was completely fair enough that we had experienced a World War II burnout. Not me though, I'll take any excuse to shoot me up some Nazis. Sadly, the Saboteur didn't exactly light up the sales charts. EA barely gave it any marketing, they released it just after Modern Warfare 2, and then to make things extra depressing, they shut down Pandemic Studios before the game even came out. No sequel, no support, and no DLC, apart from the Midnight Show DLC, which allowed for topless dances. Because who doesn't love a pair of pixelated tits? The Saboteur landed on a decent 73 out of 100 on Metacritic, and over the years it's picked up a small cult following. It's available on Steam for a super cheap price, and the reviews of the game have been very positive. One recent user saying, "A classic game, run around Nazi-occupied Paris, blowing up Nazis, what's not to love? 10 out of 10. As for me, it's one of those games that I've always wanted to try, and now luckily I finally have. Was the Saboteur a cool game no one noticed, or are we just nostalgic for the days when publishers greenlit games that let you parkour around Paris and punch Nazis in the face? Most of the World War II games we had seen up to this point followed a pretty strict formula. Jump from one historically accurate battlefield to the next, kill lots of Nazis, blow up a few tanks, and roll credits. Incredibly fun, very respectful, but also very linear. But the Saboteur said, what if we threw all of that out the window, dropped you in Nazi-occupied Paris, and let you mess around in a GTA-style sandbox instead?
I'm just getting started.
Instead of being a badass military man, you play as Sean Devlin, who is your typical Irishman. A super strong personality, a bottle of booze and a carton of cigarettes always close by, who also happens to have the unique skill of being able to sabotage things. Permanently, with like dynamite to be more precise. Sean is a race car driver that is trying to ignore the war altogether, but happens to find himself dragged into it by a local rider named Luke, who is the leader of a resistance group against the Nazi occupation. We are tasked with disrupting Nazi operations by killing high-ranking officers, destroying various military installations, and making sure we spare some time to have sexual relations with an ex-lover named Skylar, who also happens to be a British spy. She uses her charm, and let's be honest, she's hot as to convince us to help her save a defecting German scientist named Dr. Kessler. It's a typical story. Scientist creates deadly weapons, scientist defects and helps the good guys win. Add in a revenge story, add in a love triangle, a member of the resistance who betrays everybody, and you have yourself a James Bond movie but in a World War II setting. Now, I'm not saying that the story is bad. In fact, it's very entertaining despite some of its more ridiculous moments. Like when Sean is on a Zeppelin that is on fire and literally blowing up, and after a small loading screen, Sean is suddenly perfectly fine on the beach below. The plot armor on Sean is almost stronger than Nathan Drake's. Because the story takes place in Paris alone, it feels more grounded than other World War II games, which gives it more emotional weight. We are not just passing through Paris, we live here and we're going to protect its people, even if we end up blowing everything up. Is it historically accurate? Absolutely not. Is it cool, gritty, and over the top, and surprisingly heartfelt in places? Actually, yes it is. You see, this game isn't trying to be Saving Private Ryan, it's more Inglourious Bastards, but with a bad-mouthed Irishman instead of a dreamy Brad Pitt. At a cast of extremely, and I mean extremely, incredibly professional voice actors, and you have yourself a story that is solid throughout. But seriously, how did Sean even survive this? The other guy had a parachute, so what, Sean just jumped? Story missions take you through different neighborhoods of Paris and the surrounding countryside, but it's the free play events that really start pulling you through the map. Blowing up Nazi emplacements, rescuing hostages, dismantling watchtowers, or partaking in races. You would need to clear almost every single one of the 1,000 plus events and buy all regional maps to reach full completion. And even then, most players will still not fully uncover Paris unless they are chasing that platinum trophy. You losers going for that 100% completion, that platinum trophy, doing stupid side content with no substance. I definitely do not do that type of thing whatsoever. It's a waste of time. I would never go for the platinum, honestly. Look, I'm no expert when it comes to France, and if you can believe it, I wasn't even born in the 1940s. But Pandemic did an amazing job of making their version of Paris feel very alive and lived in. You're not just running through a generic city either. The game includes several stylized versions of actual Paris landmarks, though everything is slightly exaggerated for gameplay impact, just like you would see in the Assassin's Creed games.
Ezio, my friend.
These were incredibly dark times in human history, and the Sin City grayscale style they used was a fantastic choice. Everything is grim and gritty. The only color you see is in the bright red of the Nazi flags. But as you liberate areas, those streets become filled with color once more. You will be driving through a Nazi-occupied town, and in the distance you will see bright and vibrant streets of previously freed areas. Because this is a GTA style of game, I don't really need to explain the basic gameplay components. As you can see, it's a very basic third-person shooter. A decent cover system, fun gameplay with lots of different options and weapon variants, and the driving feels pretty good despite the cars being old. It's what the Saboteur does differently to GTA style games that makes it stick out as a very different experience from the rest. While you will spend a good amount of time shooting your way through levels, the main gameplay focus is more stealth and infiltration, with the main goal mostly being to blow something up and escape without being seen or noticed. Secretly knock out a lone Nazi, take his uniform, and simply walk your way through the facility, trying your best to not act suspicious or get too close to the patrol so they don't recognize you. Or if you are feeling more creative, you can parkour your way up to the rooftops and find alternate routes to your objective, even combining both strategies together. Although if you climb too much in front of other guards, they will suspect you pretty quickly and open fire. What the hell is he climbing up for, cheeky little boy? Wait a second. When it works and you secretly sneak to the mission objective, it feels great. And when it doesn't and you need to shoot your way through, it's also still just as enjoyable. Sadly, 90% of the missions and side objectives require some climbing and parkour if you want to complete them with some style, and that is where the gameplay feels incredibly rushed. Climbing is absolutely awful. It's slow, unpredictable, it looks clanky, and you will constantly find yourself climbing a wall to only find that it's impossible to make it all the way up. This would be okay if it was sort of like GTA games where you only do it some of the time, but like I already mentioned, you have to do it all the time. This is a video game, so I'm going to ignore the fact that this half-drunk, heavy smoker can easily climb buildings in the first place. So if you are going to give this guy a superpower, at least make it function a bit more cleaner. I give the parkour a 2 out of 10. Replacing your typical police wanted level with like a Nazi alert was also creative. You can misbehave in front of them to some extent, and they were smart enough to make it super easy and quick to escape the lower wanted levels. The game doesn't punish you for simply existing like GTA games do, and it made everything flow way better. Look, I love GTA games, but there's nothing worse than stealing a vehicle, getting a wanted level, accidentally running over a police officer, getting 3 stars, taking 20 minutes to escape, only for your vehicle to be shot up again, so you steal another vehicle and it happens all over again. Throughout the game, Sean can upgrade his abilities and arsenal via perks, such as improving accuracy with a sniper rifle, ammo count for all weapons, damage, and more. Perks are gained through actions such as evading high-level alarms, sniping targets, or demolishing a set number of German installations or vehicles with a certain requirement. It's a clever way to introduce new mechanics into the game, but it also rewards the player at the same time. So the question was, is this game a great experience? Or is it simply overrated because it reminds us of a time when publishers took more risk with the games that they released? Well, it's a bit of both. While the story won't blow your socks off or leave any real lasting impression, it was fairly entertaining and a creative way for us to experience that extremely overdone World War II story. Add in some legit imaginative stealth gameplay, a really artistic art style, and the ability to blow up Nazis with dynamite, and I'd say you have a game worth playing. Yes, some of the gameplay mechanics like the god-awful parkour system and the slow menu system hold this game back. It's nothing that will ruin the experience completely, especially because the good parts of the game more than make up for the bad parts. Alright, my name is Mythic Vic. I hope you enjoyed this video. I sure as hell did making it, so if you made it this far, please subscribe. Until next time, see ya.